Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you a very interesting game between Carlsen and Abdusattorov. It was played yesterday at Aimchess Rapid event. So let's quickly jump into the game. Carlsen was white, he started with e4, c5, the Sicilian, knight f3. Here e6 is quite interesting move. The main moves are d6 and knight c6, d4, cd4, knight takes, knight goes to f6, and here the main move of course is knight to f3, knight to c3, sorry, but Carlsen played very interesting move, bishop to d3 first. Now here this is a critical move, knight to c6, but Abdusattorov played d6. Now c4, Carlsen goes for kind of Maroczy bind setup with this pressure on d5, bishop develops on e7, knight c3, a6, very typical Sicilian move to prevent knight jumps on b5, bishop goes to e3, both sides castles, and here b6 move was played to prepare bishop to b7, f4, very aggressive move by Carlsen, pushing the pawns, queen c7, rook goes to the c file, and here, better would be just to play bishop to b7, but Abdusattorov played knight b to d7. And now black is very passive, and here Carlsen finds really beautiful move. Just playing g4, again very hyper aggressive. Of course, he's also opening his king, and in this position also b4 would be playable, but actually g4 is way better move. Here Abdusattorov responded with knight to c5. Now of course bishop has to go back. Bishop b7. There's three pieces attacking this pawn, so we have to defend it with queen to f3. g6 was played here, and in this position b4 was played by Carlsen to kick this knight away. Also possible was to play this g5 move. And let's say knight h5, we play f5, and here after e takes f5 we have very beautiful move, knight takes on f5, and if pawn takes knight, queen takes knight, fe4, and here very beautiful move, bishop goes to d4. Also after g5, knight e8 was possible, but now b4, knight d7, and queen enters here on h3, and we will push with f5. So very interesting line, but b4 was played, knight goes to d7, and again in this position better would be to play queen to h3 and prepare f5, but Carlsen played a very logical human move, g5. Now knight goes to h5, and here Carlsen played very interesting move, knight to d5, very bold knight sacrifice. Actually queen to h3 would be again better, but now after queen to d8, f5, this is the problem now, because bishop can take on g5. So queen to d8 would be very good reply on queen to h3. So practically speaking, probably Carlsen chose the best move, queen d8, and of course in this position I also can mention that, well, let's see what happens if black takes the knight. Now there's very crazy move, knight to f5, and let's say rook a to e8, but now we play bishop to d4, f6, and here we can take on d5 and queen d8, and yes, white initiative is very strong. Let's also see this one. After knight to f5, we take the knight, but then we take here on d5, queen d8, and we take this pawn. Sorry, not pawn, this knight. And also here, if instead of that we take here first, but after queen to d8, this is not clear. So yeah, very interesting lines in this position. but queen to d8 was played. Now Carlsen took on e7, queen takes, and queen goes to h3. Rook a to a8. Actually, this position is quite good now for black. He defended well. But also in this position, a5 was very good move. And if we play a3, a b4, and now this is the very good move. Rook enters on third rank, and this bishop is pressured on in 3. So rook a to e8 was played, rook c to e1, queen goes here, and here Carlsen played very subtle move, knight to e2. Let's see if f5 works. f5, ef5, knight takes, and gf5, queen takes knight, and bishop e4. Actually, this would be quite good for black. In this position, if ef5, knight e5 is quite better for black. So Carlsen chose the better move. And here Abdusattorov should play just kind of f5 move or a5, but actually he blundered with e5. And now this gives great opportunity for white to play f5, of course, trying to break king's position. f6, now very good move. Queen to h4, protecting this pawn. Rook f7, and here Carlsen, not in a hurry, plays rook to d1. If we go knight to g3, knight f4, bishop takes ef, queen takes, we can take here on g5, queen d6, but now this move is very strong, knight to e5. We attack here, we threaten some checks here, and yes, and black will exchange the queens. So actually in this position black is okay. But Carlsen played great move, rook to d1, also attacking this d6 pawn. Queen c7, bishop goes to d3 to guard this pawn. Rook e to f8, and here g takes f6 was played. Also possible was to play rook to f2 and just to double here. But after g takes f6, knight d takes f6. Here Carlsen played very good move, bishop to h6, attacking a rook. g5 was played. Of course, if we go rook to e8, then fg6, ag6, and this is a way better position for white. Yeah, black king can also be soon in trouble. g5, and actually in this position, instead of this one, this g5 computer suggests b5, but it's very hard to find this kind of moves. And so g5 wasn't the best move, because now just queen takes check with check, king goes to h8, bishop takes rook, rook takes, knight g3, rook goes to g8 to pressure a queen and a king, queen to h6, and queen to f7 was played, and here Carlsen played bishop to e2. But here in this position, you know, computer gives very funny line by for white. I will show you. It's very interesting. It recommends rook to f2, and the idea is after knight takes, ag3, rook takes on g3, rook g2, rook takes, king takes, and after knight takes e4, computer suggests only move, king to g1, so very funny, and after queen takes f5, just this funny looking move, rook to d2, and yes, and the point is that after this kind of checks, play rook to g2, and actually white is winning here. But yeah, of course, this cannot be found in rapid chess and in time trouble. So Carlsen played good move, bishop to e2, and here Abdusattorov blundered with knight to f4. Better would be just to take here on g3, hg3, knight takes e4, g4, knight g3, and now very good to move queen d6, knight takes with check, king f2, and a rook to e8 would be, you know, chaos on the board. But Abdusattorov played his blunder knight to f4, and here the best move would be just bishop to f3, but Carlsen plays human move. He takes the knight on f4, e f4, queen takes, knight takes e4, and here very good move by Carlsen, just king to f1. You may wonder why not bishop to f3, because now knight takes g3, hg3, bishop takes bishop, and queen f3, and here this pawn falls on c4. So king to f1 was very accurate. Now queen to g7 was played, and here actually computer suggests either to play bishop to d3 or queen to e3, but Carlsen goes for a very interesting pawn sacrifice on with f6. Knight takes, and here computer suggests to take on d6, but Carlsen blundered with king to e1. And in this position, actually, the game could be a draw if black plays rook e8, rook takes d6, knight e4, knight takes e4, bishop e4. And king is quite vulnerable. But in this position, Abdusattorov blundered with queen to e7. And now just simple queen to d6, queen g7, queen b6. White will collect all of the pawns, rook e8, and now very good move, rook d8 to exchange this attacking piece. Rook takes, queen takes, knight goes to g8, knight f5, we attack a queen, queen c3 check, and after king to f2, Abdusattorov resigned. Let's see how game could continue. Queen takes b4, now this is a problem, queen d4. So yeah, black king is in the mate, knight f6, queen takes, king goes to g8, and queen to g7 would be a mate. So excellent performance by Carlsen. You know, he also made in his post-match interview funny joke that he often has a psychological advantage from, you know, too many of his players, and yeah, it's good to start early, he said, you know. So probably now, after beating Abdusattorov a couple of times, maybe he will also gain psychological advantage later on, you know. So that was quite funny. And guys, hope you like this video, and thanks for watching, and please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye.